Hello, Regis students. How are you? I had to do some volume updating here. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me just fine. We are in lesson 11 on inheritance, and we're also going to go down and look at some of the training examples now. So let's recall that we're talking about object-oriented programming, and we have a superclass or a parent, and the parent translates into a subclass, and then it can go down to an instance. Or sometimes we'll just have the superclass and just the child class. There's no rhyme or reason between them. It depends on whatever people are doing. So we're going to look at an apple and a grape children right now. And the main constructor, you'll need to know like 2 or 3 of them at least, but INIT is for initialization. And so that means as soon as the object is called, it initializes, and generally that's where you would set like your attributes. So when come down to the learn a little bit of the learning thematic, I've been working still on making you these fun trees that we're going to have a parent and we're going to create 2 children. So let's break this down where, excuse me, I've got to alter my my scroll button, I think. Sorry about that. So I'm a little trouble scrolling here, but we're going to make the class fruit, and then we're defining. So the DEF is what's used to define or set whether it is a constructor or to create a function. So we see that we're going to create the class fruit, and then we're going to have a subclass that is apple, and we're going to have a subclass that is grape. And putting the pass in there, what that is saying is that there's nothing going on in there. So it literally is like a pass through. But now we're down to the lower level where we're going to have a Granny Smith is going to equal an apple, and we're going to set the attributes of the color and flavor at the Granny level. So before we were seeing them that we were setting the attributes up here. All right. So when the Granny Smith calls the apple calls the fruit, and we see here on the initialization that we have self, color, and flavor. So that's why you're able to put in quotes after you're able to put the attributes next to apple, and that's how they get initialized. And so then when we go to print it, we see that little print statement that we're going to have Granny Smith is going to be a flavor tart. And we could have, looked at its color, or we could have looked at, I just printed just the basics of the flavor. And then on the carnelian the carnelian grape, it was the color purple. So this is the simplest example, and as long as you keep this type of structure, you're never going to have a problem. And so I broke it out again to now we're having an instance where we're going to set when we create our superclass, but then at the instance level, we're then going to set the attributes. And so I'm just trying to give you the permutation of the ways that people will go about setting attributes either at the superclass level or at an instance level, or at the subclass level. So it all depends on what the ultimate goal of your program is. So don't be confused by it. You want to know, you need attributes to know who's who, so you know what it's going to be doing. Now when we get into, I'm going to have in the next video here, we're going to get into some more of the detailed learning, but all of the learning has been set up. Okay, that this is the long format, and so I wrote this. I try to make it simple, but it's the long format, depending upon your learning style. And then at the bottom we have the lesson category, and the lesson keywords. And so these are your cheat sheets, and so I'm trying to have you remember these as your cheat sheets, because if you take all these code books and the amount of text that they take up is like really small, then you can make them all searchable. So that's why I'm trying to have this be a master reference for you. And so we have a learning synthesis, and these are your short answers on what something's supposed to do. Now, the last part, since I did keep talking about this, is here are your definitions, and these are the base definitions. I'm not quizzing you on definitions, but again, it's to help you as you're doing your homework, that you can go and perform a file search. And this search and replace here is one of the best out there. So if you're trying to remember, oh, what's polymorphism, and you go type it in, all right, it does this wonderful setup for you that you can then quickly query and go through all that. So if I think I've only shown you that once before, but just wanted to make sure you see it again. All right, thank you.